Show. It's a great song. Always a great song. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Amateur Hour once again with myself, Zach Mashburn. Alongside me is Taylor Painter and Brian Hedge in the IT department. It's not really a department. He's just sitting in front of a computer, a microphone, and a switchboard.
It's kind of a department.
It's a department.
It's there.
Okay. With a twisted T.
Gotta have the twisted.
Yeah. I heard Smith Pro Rodeo was getting sponsored by Twisted Tea.
I do not doubt that. I don't know if that would be a good move for Twisted Tea because they're going to lose a big chunk of their revenue.
Yeah, they're going to lose money.
Yeah, I don't know if that works out for them well or not because it seems like they might already sell quite a bit of that for them.
Oh, hey, I tell you what, that podcast we did recently with Todd Bennett is going to be a hard one to top, but it was a good one. But this is a different kind. This is us just kind of chopping up things. We're going to have the Pick West Kane's Brain segment later on, so that's going to be fun. It's I tell you what, you put West Kane on the mic and he can roll.
He delivers.
Oh yeah, he always delivers. So
yes,
I'm excited about that. Kind of getting some steam behind this thing, and we got 107 views on YouTube.
Triple digits.
Yeah,
triple digits, kind of like our heat.
Yeah. Just learned that July 4th was the hottest day on record for the Earth.
The Earth.
So that was on the Weather Channel app. So just going to give you an update on our YouTube real quick. And you can find that YouTube by searching Amateur Hour Moto. So Amateur Hour Moto, and that will pull up any and all of our podcasts. We're at 110 views right now.
Oh,
so
man.
We're knocking it out of the park.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
We're getting somewhere.
I mean, it's not bad for just promoting it through our social media channels, but, spread the word, tell people to subscribe. It'll help us out. Hopefully, eventually we want to get some sponsors for this thing so we can kind of upgrade some stuff, which would be really cool if you're interested in sponsoring what is going to be, maybe not be yet, but I promise you will be the biggest thing in the amateur world, the newest, biggest thing. This is going to be it.
Yeah.
I did get a little bit of a scolding from Brian Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah.
He needs to call Wes.
Yeah. In that last podcast, I said that if people do it about the amateur world, they obviously don't do it good. Well, I did not know that Brian Johnson does a podcast.
Yeah.
And I like little Brian. So I haven't listened to his yet. He did listen to ours, though.
Hey,
yeah. So
I'm gonna have to check it out.
I'm gonna go listen to it. It's totally different.
It's not a battle. There's no battle here.
No.
Hey, a couple guys talking noise about moto.
Yeah, it's all love.
And moto's going hard right now.
Oh, it is.
Yep.
It's. I'll tell you what. I've had a lot of fun. We have a tremendous group of small bikes here.
Yes.
Big bikes are cool too, but man, the little riders, they just are so into it, and it makes me so into it.
Yep, same here. And what I like right now is the group we have is full of great parents.
Yeah,
right. We've been talking a lot about molding kids into good, hardworking Americans, and I feel like this group that we are blessed to work with right now has the parents to back what we've been kind of really focused on.
Silence your phone, Zach.
I did. Yeah, no, it's been a blast, and to see, namely, like the one that's been really fun for me is to watch little Huxley Nolan and Shannon Tarno go at it.
Yes,
it's man, it's so cool to see little kids on little motorcycles just shred.
Yeah.
It's so much fun to watch.
Yes. Like Shannon came off the gate this morning on that first gate drop. Chain just falls off this rear sprocket. It gets all bound up in it. And you couldn't have put him on that bike quicker. As soon as that chain was on, the kid jumps on it and is gone. And he went to work. And that was a long 20-minute moto for him. But he went to work, and you could see the fight. It's really, really cool. These kids are going to carry that for a long time. And it's just fun. It's nice to be able to be out in the sun, in the dirt, work with kids that care, work with parents that let you work with them. and lots of little sponges out there taking everything in. And the heart that these kids have and the love, passion for this sport it's another level, man. It's hot. The track's not easy. We built a really cool Loretta's track that it's really bringing out the best of these kids, but it's not, there's nothing easy about it, you know?
No, it's gnarly. It's gnarly. And the thing about the diversity of the two groups, and there's a good group of big bike riders too there, but you know, I talked to the little kids, and well, just in general, when they get to the big bikes and they get to that 15, 16, 17-year-old, you know, those ages, there kind of comes a point to where they either really want to do dirt bikes, or they don't want to get a job, they don't want to go to school, and so they do dirt bikes to avoid doing those other two things.
Oh yeah,
and I'm not saying that we have anybody like that, but I've definitely had a bunch of kids like that I've worked with in the past, and it becomes like, I don't know, it's super annoying because as a trainer, somebody who does it, you see it right off the bat. It's like, okay, they don't care if they do good or not, but somehow they don't bother trying to convince us, but somehow they convince their parents that, they're into dirt bikes, so keep spending money to go to the training facility. That way I don't have to go to school and I don't have to have a job. But it's almost like it almost drags the facility. And I'm not just talking, not just us. I'm just talking about in general. Like, there's a lot of training facilities across the country right now, and I guarantee you every training facility deals with this. It's like the kids. You know, you've got kids that are there that are super serious, and then you got kids that are there that don't get any better. And those are the ones that it's like they don't know what they want to do with their life, but they know they don't want to go to school, and they know they don't want to get a job.
Right.
So just
riding a dirt bike is a little better. Yeah. And they're also, they're going through a lot of, once you're 13, 14, 15, 16, you know, there's a lot of change going on in their bodies. It's a lot of change in life. They're interested in things that they were never even thinking about 4 or 5 years ago. You know, they're as you turn into a man, it's like at 10, 11 years old, you can't do much with your body, right? Your strength of your body. And then all of a sudden, by the time you're 16, it's the same person, but with a whole different tool. Like, your body starts changing, and you can knock someone out. You could be, you know, you can just being an athlete in general, because I know that most of the places that put on the summer training camps or even the year-round stuff, there's a lot of physical activity going on. They're getting strong. They're battling. And some of those kids are there to eat that up and try to learn how to be a pro. And some of them, like you said, you know, they're kind of just stuck in what they've grown up doing, and they don't know where they're going next. And there's a couple years in there where they might plateau, and some things go on at races where they either go, okay, I actually want to do this, or the parents finally said, no, we're not going to do this without the full commitment. And then they fizzle off. You know, there's been countless names that come up, 50, 65, 85 riders. And as a kid, you can get away with so much. You can just kind of ride that wave on talent. And then when things start getting real, you see there's some drop off. And then, but at the other side of that is the kids that maybe weren't so talented on the 50s, 60s, that natural talent wasn't there, or maybe the setup in the family situation or school or whatever it was, you know, maybe they couldn't have rode full time until they got a little older, hit them 85s, and now they hadn't been training the whole time. So they started on the training program, whether it's with a local guy taking them to tracks or going to a facility, or, you know, Pop's new business took off, you know, and now he can take you around the country and ride or whatever. But those new crop of kids, by the time they're on big bikes, they're still hungry. And some of those faster kids at a young age, you know, they're kind of burnt. And they've been going to the same 6 national races their whole life. They've been there for 10 years already, you know. And if you lose sight of kind of what you were attacking when you were young, and now you got this new thing dangling around you when you're 15, 16 years old, and you're chasing a whole different set of goals sometimes, and it's that goes with any sport, I would think,
for sure.
But in our sports, typically that age right in there is where it gets real, and you'll see who's going to shine and who's not about it anymore. And most of the time, you can't. The ones that do kind of fall off from it, it's like you can't blame them.
Right.
You've been doing this a long time already. This kids start racing 5, 6 years old, racing nationals at the same tracks. When they're 16, they've been there for 10 years.
Well, and I've had this discussion quite a few times over the last several months, but the majority of these kids are not going to make a living riding dirt bikes.
Nope.
And
that's why you shouldn't be thinking about that anyways.
No, and that's what. And so my mind, for a long time, I was trying to get every kid to the pro ranks. Right, every kid that I worked with. That was my goal. Was I want to see them all go out there and make money and race supercrosses and outdoor nationals. That's no longer my goal because I know you're
setting yourself up for failure.
Well, yeah, and the majority of them, it's not going to happen. Now I just want, and I had to talk with a dad just the other day, and he's like, man, we're coming to the end, and I don't know what to do, and it's a lot of money. And I'm like, dude, you look at it like the money spent is the closing time of you and your kid together all the time, because once motocross stops for you, your kid goes to college, he doesn't want to come home and hang out with dad.
Right.
And it's probably going to be until he's 26 or 27, maybe a little older before that happens again. So
usually it's when they start having kids normally, right?
So don't look at it like you're spending money for him to be a great motocrosser. You're spending money for him to learn work ethic, all those things. Plus, it's the last thing that you and him get to do together all the time. And it really like resonated with him, and I wish I would have thought with my own kid. I wish I would have thought of it more that way. And initially I did, but again, we were pretty blessed, and he won a lot, and we kind of lost sight of it and went. I had that whole we're gonna pro mentality, and he didn't. And I didn't know. I didn't know. But looking back, it's and I've said this a bunch, but we got everything we ever wanted out of motocross with no pro career.
Yeah,
everything we ever wanted, and which is awesome, because the things that it does for kids without them realizing it's doing for them is irreplaceable.
And that's what you should be investing into.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, you're going to spend how much money a year? You're going to spend all this time, and people look at it as like a job instead for themselves as like the parent, but if it's a job for you, then you are probably not getting out what you need out of it from yourself personally as well, because it's you're driving around the country and spending days with your family, with your kid, right?
Right.
It is such an opportunity. When you go to these 6 big nationals a year, that's 6 weeks minimum, 6 weeks of the year that you're going to spend with your kids. Most people in their 9 to 5s get 2 weeks. And the weekends. And on those
Where do all these people get those 6 weeks vacation?
Dude, that I don't know. Well, I do not know.
Hey, hold on. It's 6 weeks if you show up when it starts.
Yeah.
If you show up a month before.
There's a couple of them.
There's people at Loretta's right now.
Yeah, I would not doubt that.
We're there, camped out, sipping a cold one right now. What do they do? Like,
I don't know.
I need to know on that.
That's one of the things, I don't ask people what they do.
I don't. I mean,
it's... that's like a normal conversation. Oh, well, what do you do for a living?
Well, I do solely because I want to know how they got from, just like that deal we did with Binnick. I want to know how they got from point A to point B. Like, how do you get from high school to what you're doing now? I'm super curious to know it. Mm-hmm. So I will ask people what it is they do for a living, just because, okay, now I know somebody who, does this, but how did you get there? I'm always curious about that. Not like it helps me in life any at all, but that's my curiosity. How do you get to where you were? So, which is why I like doing these podcasts, because, like the one we did with Binnick, man, and not many people know it, but I did a 3-hour one with Randy DeFrancisco that was really, really good. And I had the wrong software on my computer. When I connected them together, it deleted the whole thing. And I spent $300 trying to save it, and it didn't work.
Well, that's why Brian Hedge is here.
I was just going to say, that's why you got me, man.
That's why we got the IT department. So,
the whole time well spent, you get to the end of this road, right? And in our sport, we just kind of glazed over, a little, or talked about a little bit of that age bracket in there where it happens. But that it's got to be everything, right? The deal is, I see with say baseball, you play Little League baseball with your kids. You take them to practice twice a week. You really just sit on the sidelines and they go out there with the coach. And
that's what you're supposed to do. If you're super into it, you don't do that and you get yelled at.
But, okay.
So I heard.
Yeah. So you get that kind of, but once they get that 9th, 10th grade, it's really they're practicing at school.
And once they turn 16 and they have a vehicle, you don't go to any of their,
right.
They're on their own.
But in our world, 16, 17, 18, you're still with your kids. They're still with you, right?
They may go practice by themselves.
Yeah.
But at the races, it's a family.
It's still those 6 weeks.
Yeah.
There's still those weeks and then those regionals and then those areas. So it's really a really cool setup for the family. And people talk about it's a family sport, and it really is. The more solid the family is, the more committed the parents are, the more success you will find in it, and we've talked about that, you and I, off air before, of these amateur kids that you see winning all the time. They're able to do that because of the commitment level that the parents are willing to give or able to give. Right. It's not all willing. A lot of people would love to be able to commit more, but whatever the life situation has is when it allows parents to commit that much time and energy into that kid will reap the benefits of that.
For sure.
Because it can't happen without it.
No.
A 10-year-old's not going to go win national championships without a mom or a dad that can take them riding 4 or 5 days a week, and being able to change the oil and the air filter and keep the bikes running and have 6 of them. And it's pretty cool when you really see the ins and outs of what it takes for these families to do this. And at our facility, and I'm sure it's every facility, but it's wild to see the moms so involved that when they start out on 50s, they're not changing no oil. What is this air filter thing? And by the time they're done with 50s, dude, they know how to change oil.
Mechanics. Yeah,
they can do
mechanics.
top ends on Cobras. They can change tires. They're out there. Oh, little Jimmy ain't he's abusing the back brake today. I'll fix that. They come back out. Mom done took that thing off. Heck yeah, they're gnarly. And that's a pure commitment to what their kid wants.
Hey, one thing that kind of gets glazed over a little bit, and this is a task for old B Hedge over there.
Give it to me.
Pull up the vault on Justin Brayton, please. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of guys that are super successful, and maybe you can think of some more too, but that's just the main one that because of his career was so good.
It's still going.
That for sure.
He's racing World Supercross.
But I don't feel like he was a big amateur. Give us, what do you got?
What do you want to know?
What do you got?
I got every year he ever went to the race.
All right, give us a rundown.
Okay. First time he went, he never went on. He went 1 year. 1998, he went in 105 Super Mini 12 to 15, and he got 19th overall. And he also went in 85 12 to 13 stock, and he got 4th. It was his first year going.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And then his second year, 1999, the year after, he went in 125 mod and stock, and he got 12th and 12th overall.
Okay.
And then in 2000, he went in 125 B mod and 125 stock, so the same class that he raced the year before, and he got 19th and 14th. And then that was in 2000. He didn't go until 2002 again, and he went in 250/Open A, 250 Pro Sport. And he got 4th in Open A, and he got 13th in 250A.
So 4th was the best result there, right?
Correct.
Which is pretty good. 4th is...
His first year was 12-14, is that what you said?
Yeah, 12. Or he raced 85 12 to 13 stock in 1998.
Yeah, 12 to 13.
But didn't podium at Loretta's ever. And had one of the best pro careers that you've ever seen. So, I feel like we're doing an injustice if we don't talk about those guys that don't We're in Loretta's mode right now. So everybody's, people that are qualified, they're training, they're in that, the moto grind, and so we have Loretta's kind of on the mind, but I think it's just as important to talk about the fact that there are a lot of guys who have great pro careers that don't do crap at Loretta's.
Pull up Ryan Dungey.
He won it one time, just like my kid.
Late.
Just like my kid.
Yep.
Ryan Villapoto.
He had Mike Alessi.
Yeah. And Mike Alessi was the winningest rider at Loretta's ever, which means that his competition, Ryan Villapoto, was not. So I want to make it's cool to win that thing, but I also want to make it clear you do not have to do good there to be good.
Yeah, don't put everything on it.
No.
Don't. Use it to learn how to deal with pressure.
Right.
Right.
It was cool. So like when my kid won, it was cool to us. And it was cool to his bank account because it's contingency. But other than that,
of course it's cool.
On Monday after we got home, nobody gave a shit.
I didn't win it until I was 30 years old, and dude, that was awesome.
Yeah,
it was a great feeling. But 2
it was
days
cool.
later,
It was cool to you and your family.
Yeah.
Right? And I fist bumped you.
Yeah.
Right after your win.
And for a bunch of my buddies growing up, it was cool for them. You know, it was cool for a whole lot of Texas people that knew me because they knew as a kid I got a late start. We weren't the, we weren't the big budget family. It was just me and my dad in a box van and a couple dirt bikes, and we were kind of old school getting through it in our way of doing it.
It's silenced. It comes through.
Turn your Bluetooth off, Zach. We won't need it.
So it is cool. It's not like you can undermine winning that race or even podium. I mean, just being there battling is awesome.
But it doesn't have to happen.
No,
it does not have to happen. And
don't put your whole kid's well-being and mental
mortgage on the house.
Yeah, don't do it. I mean, no. If you're,
what do you got over there? What do you got?
Yeah, come on, tell us about it.
You want to hear Ryan Dungey's?
Yes.
All right. He only went a few times. He only went in 2002, 3, 4, and 5. He went 4 times. He went in 85 12 to 13 stock in 2002, only one class, and he got 32nd overall his first trip to the ranch. And then next year, 03, he went 85 12 to 13 stock and mod, got 9th overall in both of them. And then 105 Super Mini in 2004 and got 9th again. In 04, he also raced 85 14 15 mod and got 4th overall. And then in 05, he raced 125 mod and stock and got 1st and 4th.
That's the only time he won it.
Yep.
And he got a factory Suzuki deal before. That was on a factory Suzuki.
Yeah,
He got it before that.
So I remember his dad and his brother and the whole family. They were always at the Suzuki tent, right? And they presented themselves well. They were at the races. They were doing what you were supposed to do and being with the right people, and they just kept showing up. The Dungeys kept showing up.
Well, a lot of people don't know this, but Jade was a really fast A guy.
Yeah, he was. That's his older brother,
Number
right?
900.
Yep.
He was fast.
They were answer kids too.
And then I actually got to work with Blake Dungey, who's the youngest brother. He was extremely fast as well. Really, really fast. Wow, fast. Just didn't, he started a business, started family early. I don't know why Jade and Blake didn't try to go on with it, but they were both great riders, really good.
I'm pretty sure they're all pretty successful now.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
That goes back to what we were saying. It's the sport breeds it. It requires it. What we're talking to them kids about today. It requires the commitment, the hard work, the mindset, and the aggression. And if you attack it, you learn to deal with that fear, and that will carry you. Right? it's proof in it.
You got Villapoto over there?
I think there's a lot of seconds in that.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's crazy is it didn't go that way once they turned pro, but
it almost instantly flipped.
yeah, but as far as amateur went, I can remember.
I mean, he was always there.
He got second 6 times.
Yeah.
Which means Mike Alessi won all 6 of those. But Alessi won more than that.
Alessi won everything.
Yeah, he had a lot of championships there. A lot.
Wow. You want to know this one?
Yes.
All right. 99, he went in 65 10 to 11 and 85 7 to 11 stock, both stock classes, and 7th in the 65 class, 17th in the 85 class. And then the next year, 2000, he went in 65 10 to 11 stock and 85 7 to 11 stock, again, the same classes, and he got 2nd in the 65 class and 3rd in the 85 class. Wow. And then he, in 2001, Super Mini and the 85 12 to 13 stock, and he got 7th in Super Mini and 2nd in 85 12 to 13. Here's where the number 2s start. 02, he went in 85 12 13 stock again and 85 9 to 13 mod, 2nd in both of them. 2003, Super Mini and 85 14 to 15 mod, 2nd in both of them. 2004, he only went in one class, 85 14 15 mod, and he got 41st overall. Something must have happened. I don't know. But then in 2005, he went straight from 85. In 2004, he went 85 14 to 15 mod. And then the next year, 2005, he was 125A and 125A Pro Sport, and he went 1 and 4.
Yeah. That's his one championship. Ryan Villapoto.
Right off in 85.
One championship, Extreme Team Green. With Bobby Hewitt. And they had Canada dog food sponsor.
Was Canada that sponsored then? By then?
I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Was Villapoto on Extreme Team Green?
Yeah.
Was he?
Yep. And
little Stroop.
And that was his one Loretta Lynn's championship. And then he went on to have one of the best pro careers of anybody until 2019 Red Bull Straight Rhythm, where he got knocked off 2-0 by Parker Mashburn. Just got to throw that in there. Yeah. So, yeah. But, I mean, literally one championship. Ryan Dungey, one championship. That's two of the best. Justin Brayton, no championships.
Yep.
3 of the best pro careers that you've ever seen in your life.
And then there's guys like Matt Lemoyne, Kyle Cunningham.
Oh,
Kyle Cunningham ended up with a really good pro career. I mean, truthfully, it was long. He made good money while he was racing. He was able to save money, bought a nice house, has a good family. And I'm pretty sure he never won Loretta's.
Did Lemoyne?
I think Lemoyne won. I think he did.
He had a good career, too. I mean, he stopped.
Yeah.
Did he have to? I can't remember. Injuries.
I don't want to say. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But he did. He had a great career. He was a star, right?
Well, yeah, but so like Hackley, Cunningham, Lemoyne, maybe Will Hahn, all at the same time they were on like a Toyota Yamaha deal. They all turned pro at the same time. They had like the Toyotas, and there was a whole package thing. I think I remember. I don't want to speak too much into that because I could be talking way off right now, but something like that. Who you got?
Oh, I was just gonna. I got y'all's. I got Matt Lemoyne. He won Loretta's twice.
Okay.
Did he? Okay.
He won in the Super Mini class, and then his last year going in 06, he won the 4-stroke open class.
Oh yeah,
4-stroke 201cc to 650cc.
The last ever 4-stroke champion was Heath Harrison. The last time they had that class, I'm almost positive.
Was that like a pro class?
And it's just an open. He beat Malcolm Stewart.
Malcolm would just show up some years and be flying.
Yeah.
Like at Lake Whitney. He showed up one year and he's just ripping. Like, what?
Oh, yeah. Remember when he jumped, there was those rollers before you went up the uphill? And
the little hill.
He jumped like the whole section, right?
Or maybe one. Maybe he didn't hit one.
Somebody else tried it, though, and ended up in the pond, and there's a video of that.
On a Honda. Yeah, right?
Yeah, there is a video of that. We need to see if we can find that.
Are you talking about the clip that's in the movie The Beginning?
Yes.
It's Josh Lichtel on a Suzuki.
Yes.
Lichtel did that?
Rest in peace.
I believe so,
Josh,
yes.
yes.
Lichtel was awesome.
Yeah, let me see.
He was so fun to be around. Just growing up racing like that. They would do that. Do you remember the talent shows?
Oh, yeah.
Were you around for all that? Like GNC and the talent shows and Lichtel and his sister and Millsaps, and it was always this whole crew, and they would do the craziest.
I'm going to see if I can find
the clip of the pond?
Yes.
Oh, I can get that. I know where it's at.
All right, pull it up.
Here it is.
Yep, that's Whitney right there. Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, that was 720. There's Cody Dickey right there. That was
Jace Lewis.
Jace Lewis. Yep, behind him.
Jace Lewis was a force to be reckoned with. There was one year where no one could touch him.
Yeah.
Like no one could beat him.
It was sometime around then. That was, what year is that? Oh, what? 04? It was a 4-stroke, right? You don't know?
Lichtel's on a 2-stroke.
Was he?
Still, so it's got to be right in that era.
Yeah.
04, 06.
Can you even remember, though, before they took the track up the hill? Like, you remember you used to be able to
I was
drive,
on a KX60.
You used to drive all the way around the track.
So, they didn't usually let 60s go up the hill or 65s, right?
Right.
Up the big hill. So, the first time they did it, I was on a KX60. I went with my stepdad and my mom to the race, and it was a 2-day race, and we rented a U-Haul trailer, cargo trailer. We parked at the base of the mountain. But that was, from what I remember, is one of the only times they ever let the 60 class go up it, and I got to go up on a 60 the first weekend they ever did that. But before that, I do remember racing there.
And you could drive all the way around the track.
Yep.
This was the Honda Houston trailer wasn't there then. Remember that Honda Houston trailer sat over there forever? I rented the track to do camps when McWilliams had it, and Parker got to go up the hill on a 50. That was pretty cool. I pushed Jesse Nelson's bike down from the very top of his chain broke at the very top, and I had to crawl up there and bring it down. So, I've hiked that hill. Somebody said they used to ride, somebody drove us side by side down there. Because, it's all rock. That hill, there's no dirt there. It's all rock.
Uh-huh.
They said somebody drove us side by side down it.
I'm sure. They should rock climb up that.
But craziness happened at Whitney.
Uh-huh.
Craziness.
Do you guys have any idea what year that was that Malcolm did it? I have all the Whitney videos, but they're all a different year.
No.
That's Ryan Villapoto right there on that Verb post.
Oh, right there.
Right there, 6:15.
You think that could be the year? Is it around 04?
He would be on Kawasaki's
Yep, he was on
271.
Yep.
He was Extreme Team Green.
Yeah. Was
right?
he Extreme
yeah,
Team Green?
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. That was a long time ago.
I don't remember, but I know he was on Cowie's. I don't know what year. But that would have been definitely would have been 2-strokes.
252 stroke.
Yeah.
Right there where Villapoto just went and broke my thumb. And Gay Smith, Justin Smith's mom, Zeb Smith's mom. I kept going back to her thinking that it was dislocated.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept setting it, pulling it, putting it back together, putting it back together.
It was broke.
Oh, it's broken in half. She did it 3 times. And then finally on the third one, she wrapped me up. She's like, Taylor, I'm not doing this again. You need to go get it checked out if it comes out again.
How awesome was Gay? She's one
awesome.
of the hardest working women I've ever met in my life.
Yep. She took no shit in staging.
But, single mom, 2 boys, went from the bottom to the top.
Yep. She had a nice home.
Just busted her ass.
Yeah. And
at one
and they were both played with such injuries. It's crazy. They're so fast.
And Justin Smith is still, I think, the fastest rider to ever come out of Texas.
Okay, Justin Smith. I'm pretty sure he rode the novice class. Pretty sure Justin Smith raced the novice class at Loretta Lynn's.
Really? I know he
We
won.
need to check.
I know he won the beginner class at on 85.
Oh, but see, right
at
there.
Whitney, I think.
So he was in the 85 beginner class.
Yeah, he didn't start
And
until
he came out and he raced for Plano Shark Honda
But remember, do you remember him when he was on a Grapevine Kawasaki
Yes.
deal? That was 85 beginner. He had the longest blonde mullet.
And Grapevine had Cunningham and
That was the Mighty Mike Bolivar years.
yes, and they had them custom painted helmets up. Then they'd get the whole setup at Mosier Valley.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a legit deal.
So I know, and I'm almost positive it's 85 beginner he was in. But I remember, do you remember his last amateur years? He was Thousand Oaks Yamaha. He would
Yamaha.
ride. Yeah, Thousand Oaks Yamaha. He would ride hard for one lap and be so far ahead of everybody. He literally just cruised the rest of the moto.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable.
Yeah, a super cool guy.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid. He was just nice. He was nice to everybody.
Still, nicest guy. Zeb. I took Zeb deer hunting one time.
Yeah.
Cool little kid. And he was fast as all get out, too.
Yeah. Remember he took the swing arm to the face at Branson?
Yeah. Hey, but the best moto I ever saw in my life, no joke, I think it was a regional at Freestone. And, it's how hard it is to pass at Freestone. Zeb crashed in the first turn and came back and won that moto. Made the last pass through the rollers before the finish line.
Was he on 85s?
No, it was a big bike.
He got big bikes.
Yeah.
He had a couple. He seemed like he would have a year or two on the 85. Then he'd
and at the best I can remember, this is after he'd been off for a while from an injury. It was probably the best moto I've ever watched in my life, and it was, yeah.
You want to hear his results?
Yes.
Does he deserve it since he didn't answer?
Does it say Mansfield?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, he went in 04, 05, and 06, and that's it.
Really?
Yep.
What?
Well, hold on. There's two of him, though, so it might have him under
go
two
back.
things. Hold on.
Why would there be two Zeb Smiths?
I don't know.
Wish there was a Lake Whitney vault.
No kidding.
That'd be badass.
That would be. Surely we can find it.
We could see Zach's results in the plus 25 on his 520.
Yes. The tractor. I literally, everything on that track in third gear. Never shifted.
Okay, Zeb has, I just kind of messed it up, but I can tell you his last ones first. His last ones are under a whole different name. He went in 2011, and he went in 250A and 450A, and he got 14th and 11. It's pretty good.
Wait, you said they were under a different name?
Look like Zeb Smith to me.
No, it was Zeb Smith twice. Like half of his results are under one, and the other half were under the other.
How can Justin Smith not be in there? Did they never go?
Might not have.
I mean,
really
that
might
would
not have,
I mean, that would be a cool little twist.
Okay,
he did get hurt, right, in his first year of pro, but he made it onto a legit Supercross team and had all the talent to...
For sure, and mopped everybody's ass.
Yeah, him and Turbo Reef.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those dudes were fast.
Okay, in 2004, he went in 85, 7 to 11 mod and stock. Not so good luck in the mod. He got 38th and 14th in the stock. And then next year, he raced the next age class 85, 12 to 13 mod and stock. And he got 22nd in mod and 14th in stock. And then the last year, or not the last year he went because he went in 2011. 2006, he went in the same two classes again, and he got 16th and 14th. Not even a top 10.
Wow.
Great rider, though.
Yep.
Unbelievable, right?
Yeah, Zeb was quick. Just got hurt a lot.
He won championships.
Yeah.
Maybe not at Loretta's, but he won championships.
For sure.
I remember vividly him winning one at Lake Whitney.
I remember when he got second on the 65. First time, he was kind of like a breakout for his 65 class, and he got second. And there's a whole bunch of Texas kids just on the side right there where you'd finish. You pull off after that tabletop, go through.
Down through the gate.
Get it through the fence.
Yeah, it was 4 foot wide exit deal.
How many times you see people crash?
Oh, it's great. Does it get all whooped out?
Yes.
I miss Lake Whitney. like really, really bad because I had a yearly RV spot there. And but it took me forever to get. I was like the third or fourth spot down when you're driving in on the river, and it took me forever to get that spot.
Dude,
but it was like vacation.
It was awesome.
You pull in there for the weekend, and it's like it's not even like being at a race.
No, it's super cool.
I actually called. It's maybe been a year ago, and the old owner and talked to him about, hey, what would it take to get that place cracked back off? And he said, I sold it to some people with a lot of money, and I'm talking about a lot of money, and that's their weekend getaway, and there will never be another dirt bike ridden on that place.
And that's such a bummer.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
I get it, though.
Yeah, I totally do, too, but so much history there. But if you don't care about dirt bikes, you don't care about dirt bike history.
Yeah.
So
we had
it was worth a shot.
Our RV spot. So you come by the main road, come in behind the start. You have the split off, and then the next road that went behind Honda of Houston, all that, where Trey Kennard, the King family.
Yep.
Right there. So right as it turned, we were right on across from that turn, and where the breaker box was a whole spot open because of the breaker box.
Yep.
So Cunningham was on one side of that. We were on the other, and then we just shared the open space right there.
Nice.
We had that spot for years. Oh, yeah, it was awesome.
That's the way like I said, it took me a while to move up to get the spot on the river, but I had that spot on the river for probably 6 or 7 years. And, oh, my God, dude, it was so nice. And
shade.
Oh, and the cool thing about it was when the weekend was over, I was close to the exit. There was only 3 people that were closer to the exit than me, other than the Hogshead flag crew. They were closer, and they didn't have much to pack up.
Yeah, they did. They had tents, and
one person had a tent. The rest of them had maybe a sleeping bag.
Yes. That crew was cool, though.
Hey, and here's something I've asked people this. We've totally got off on like a Texas tangent, but I'm cool with that because Texas baby.
Still trying to find this Malcolm Stewart video, by the way, because I know where it's at. I can
remember.
I love
in the
that
corner
video.
of the fence right there where he did it,
dude. And that is so a sin.
Oh, so big. And
come over that big roller on the far left and cut across.
Yes.
Yes.
Huge.
This is in 2009.
Yeah, that's when they let the track go to shit.
They
wanted that race to go to Mill Creek real bad.
Oh yeah.
Didn't work out so well.
I went over there.
It was all right. Track was pretty cool.
The track was very raceable. The pits, not very
so much.
Not very pitable.
Is that track still around? Do you know?
No, they sold it and developed it last year.
Yep.
I took Scoggins to Mill Creek and Devon Senderas.
That place was cool. I mean, I did camps there too. I would always do one the same weekend as Atlanta Supercross. Mm-hmm. So we'd do camp during the day and then go to Atlanta Supercross at night. And
you started tapping into that pretty early.
Yeah.
Getting the camps done on good timing and 4 big races. And
it always worked. I mean, it worked out so good. And for the longest time, I was the only one doing it.
Uh-huh.
I loved that.
You had huge groups.
Yeah,
I remember, dude, Zach is killing it.
Yeah, for the longest time, I was the only one to do it. And the thing was where other people failed, or not, I'm not going to say failed, but where mine was so successful is if you go back 15 years or so ago, all the people who coached would say, we don't work with 50 riders, or we don't work with 65 riders. Man, I used to go all over the country working with only 50 riders. Like I would have camps full of 50 riders. When Sean Cantrell was on a 4-6 bike, and I rented a track at Comp Edge, and had it said I had Sean Cantrell on a 4-6 bike, had Jesse Nelson on a 65, like Andrew Silverstein. It was cool. You know what I mean? Like that was back, but nobody would work with 50 riders. They were scared of them. Like,
a lot of guys still are. A lot of people will not work with them, and
a lot of people shouldn't work with them.
It's true.
In my opinion, if you don't have kids, how do you relate to them?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that's
and not even relate. I feel like once you have kids, you kind of understand that everything you say to that kid, it means a lot. Everything. you know, kids are listening, and there's a lot to the thought process and the forethought of what you should be saying to a kid and how they react to that, and how that the way you're portraying a message to them, how that lasts. And you know, you could really screw some kids up. And
people have figured out that there's revenue in working with little kids, which is a little bit offensive to me. It's not, because of course it's a business, and you have to make money, but like, where were all those people when no one would work with 50 riders? Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't until they saw people doing really good working with young kids before they said, "Oh, we'll do that." Mm-hmm. Now, let's just say we're the man with working with little. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like,
and they want to. What bugs me on some of it is, from the outside looking in, is they try to coach them as if they're already an older rider, like they're already on big bikes. You know, like a teenager. It's a completely different thing.
For sure, it is. And again, that's why I'm like, if you, and I don't know, I mean, a good coach is a good coach and a bad coach is a bad coach. But if you haven't had kids and you're working with kids, I just don't feel like it's like you can relate.
Well, yeah, so that's kind of like what I meant to say there was they put them on a pro style program.
Right.
Sprints, we're going to do sprints, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then it's gate drops, and it's, you know, like what you would build for, like we do with our B riders, you know, our big group, you know, and kind of try to motivate them in the same way too, and talk to them the same way as you would a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid. And it's not the same thing. And I, you know, I have 3 kids. I did a lot of learning in the last 14 years, you know, about the child psychology and how affected they really are with everything you say, your body language, the attention you give them. Being able to point out something for every little kid is huge. And, you know, they require all of you. Just like a kid does at home. A little kid requires all of you. If you want to be a good parent, you got to be there. You know, and it's the same thing as being a good coach to a group of kids. You got 15 kids, you better find 15 things that each one, you know, or 15 different things, because they're not all the same. And you have to relate to them. And what you say about that, I know you say it a lot. If you don't have kids, how are you working with kids? And
well, and even to go a step further than that, like I did camps with little bitty riders early on, like before. I don't know. My kids are 21 and 23. I don't know if I did those 50 groups. Because I've got some of those 50 kids are early 30s now. So it's so maybe even before I had kids. And I'm not going to say I was great.
You were coaching before you had kids?
Oh, yeah.
Were you?
Oh, yeah. I was coaching way before I had kids.
I mean, I knew I was. I just didn't remember that.
Yeah, but
the
again,
first time I remember it was you had approached me probably 05, 06. When was Parker born? When was Hunter born?
Hunter was born in 2000. Parker 01.
So probably 05 or 06, you had approached me about if I wanted to go with you to do some camps. And I'm like, what? Hey, you're doing what? You know, because I was a local pro kid, so that's what I would do, right? We'd do little Village Creek sessions and little bitty stuff. I wasn't even calling it a camp yet. And then sometime in that time frame, you were taking Cody Dickey with you.
Yep.
And
but I can't remember if it was before or after that. It was Jesse Moore.
Did you link up with Jesse?
Yeah.
Yep.
But the whole reason I was doing those was because like with Cody Dickey, he had lost his Team Green ride and it was coming, you know, having to foot the bill to go racing, and he didn't have the money. So I would set those camps up, and we would go do those camps, and he would keep all the money to go racing on. It wasn't like I wasn't doing it to make money. I was doing it to help him. But the reason I went from him to Jesse Moore, and from Jesse Moore to, I think Jesse Moore was the last one that I actually, you know, was setting him up to help him. It's because I kept getting stood up. And I'm like, I mean, I know I can do this on my own.
Right.
I don't have to have these pro guys, but I want to help them. But if they're not going to show up, I'll just make the money myself, you know? And that's really what that was. But I was doing it before, not as a business, but just because I enjoyed it. I had guys, like Tim, you know Tim Wade?
Yes.
Okay.
Tim Wade has bought a lot of my dirt bikes.
Okay. So I got Tim Wade and his son into motocross.
Awesome.
And I used to work with his son. I don't know how old his son is now, but Ty. But they knew nothing. Tim Wade was a bull rider, like a gnarly bull rider. Didn't know anything about dirt bikes, and I got them into it. I remember bought his first bike. His first bike was, remember the old KTM 65s? They were real long. The fenders were like straight off the front and back. He bought one of Blake Wharton's KTM 65s. That was their first motorcycle, and picked it up at Lake Whitney at my RV spot on the river. And, that's how that started. So, but what I was going at was, like, I would work with Tim's kid, or I would, just a kid here, a kid there, just to help him out. Wasn't charging any money. I was just doing it because I enjoyed doing it. And then kind of figured out that I had a lot of knowledge. Like, when I was a kid, we didn't have much money, and I was super into dirt bikes, but I studied motocross because I was thinking, well, when I get everything that I need to be good, I want to be ready to be good. Well, I didn't get everything I needed to be good until I was in college. And by that point it was too late. I got it from my college school loans. Went in the thrifty nickel, bought me a 125, bought me a 250, and went racing and had a great time. Great group of guys from out west, West Texas. But it was too late. And I knew it was too late, but, I just enjoyed it while I could. But all this knowledge that I'd gained from, preparing myself to be a good rider, I was like, it's useless. That I figured out a use for it. And so like, I was a student of the sport for a different reason. I couldn't ride all the time. I was raised by my grandmother, but I had a program called Big Brothers and Big Sisters. It was on KTAB, the news channel in Abilene there, and I was on it. And this guy named Gene Gartman, he was my big brother through that program, and he got me a YZ80. It was one of the ones that came with the number 1 on it, yellow. And the thing was stupid fast, and I used to get it taken away all the time. He would either take the spark plug out of it or take the cap off. And when he was gone, me and my buddies would try to push it down a hill, like push start it, but we didn't know you had to put it in gear. So because we'd seen people do it, right? So we would just push it down the hill and jump on it, and it wouldn't start. We couldn't figure it out. Yeah, it was a whole thing. But again, we didn't have the money to go racing like I wanted to. So, got all this knowledge from studying to be good and never got to use it. So here we are, 30 something years later, teaching dirt bikes.
That's a lot of it for me. I never had a coach other than my dad. We didn't have the money to pay for trainers. We didn't have money to pay for a mechanic. So my dad became the mechanic, and he was the trainer, and we had a video camera, and I was a student, and we spent a lot of time trying to dissect it and figure things out. And we also spent a lot of time holding the throttle on longer everywhere. Long throttle. And I ate a lot of dirt.
We call that the oh shit drill when I do camp.
Yeah. But it's a good drill. We had a lot of hard nose, let's figure it out. And we had to figure it out the hard way. And I had a lot of injury and a lot of medical bills. And as I became pro, I needed to step my game up, and I did it like just turn the wrist. And I kind of took me a while to figure out some of the technical side that would give me that control. But I did what I'm getting at. It was learn it the hard way. And so that's where I've developed my coaching style, and the things that I try to help these kids do very early is build that technical base. And we really, really focus on that technique. And Zach, I like it because you and I have become a pretty good duo as coaching, because we kind of feed off of each other, and we understand the same philosophies of riding the bike and being in a position to have leverage and control, and let that be your driving force that brings the speed. But for me, it became an organic way to do it because I didn't have the money for someone else to teach me how they were taught how to do it, right? Mm-hmm. So it kind of evolved for me, and now it's evolved through the 2-stroke into the crappy 4-strokes into now the really good 4-strokes. And at that same evolution was when I was racing 50s, we were only on P-dubs.
I remember
there was only P-dubs.
Stretched out swing arms and modified FMF pipes.
And now through all of it, now these kids.
Cobras and KTM 50s weren't around forever, dude.
LEM and
everybody used to ride P-dubs.
Yes.
Modified, highly modified P-dubs.
So now these kids are on, these Cobra 50s are legit.
Oh, they're gnarly.
These 6-year-old, 7, 8-year-old kids are on rocket ships, and they need the correct technique. And if they don't, it's going to bite them, and it will every time. And it's kind of our duty to build the right technique at a young age with these kids, which is what we are both passionate about, so that as they progress, they already have that foundation for safety, because the bikes get better every year. They're getting faster.
And I always make it a point to tell people that you don't want, like, the worst thing a parent can do is stand on the side of the track and scream at their kid to go faster when they don't have the tools to go faster.
Yeah, yell at your kid to get their toes in.
Well, that's the reason that ambulance ride happens, is because your kid's not ready for it, but you scream at them to go faster. You don't want them to go faster without the proper tools. And the proper tools are getting technique right, getting your body position right, all those things. And once you do all those things, then you can push for more speed. But you never ever want to put that cart before the horse, because that ends up tripped to the ER.
And most of the time, I find that you don't have to push them for that speed.
Once
they're racing dirt bikes,
once they figure out that they're going their speed and they're not hitting the ground anymore, they start getting a little more confident.
Yep.
And then with more confident comes, I can go a little faster.
Right.
And then as long as that good technique is there, they stay off of the ground, and then the confidence just grows and grows and grows.
I've always said technique builds control, control builds confidence, and confidence brings speed. You cannot skip those steps.
For sure. And I don't want to bullshit anybody either. 30-something years ago when I started coaching kids, I was not a good coach. Like, I wish that I could find some of those kids and apologize to them. Yeah. You have to learn. Everything's a learning process.
Of course.
And so there was 2 stages to where I really wish that I had taken a different route. One's when I started, maybe started a little easier. The second is when, even though I felt like I knew motocross extremely well, when I had kids that started racing, I didn't know motocross with my own kids, and I did a lot of that wrong too. So it's a constant evolution, and then the sport doesn't stop changing. I mean, look at this. We thought we had it figured out, and we got all these freaking e-bikes.
Yeah, and I mean, I started coaching when I was 17 years old. So I probably had some decent information and cool ways to deliver it to young kids, but I was not a polished coach. I hadn't done it enough, and it really took a lot of people I respected telling me, "Hey, you have a good knack at this. I think this is like a gift. I think you're really good at communicating with kids." And then, when you're a kid, you're like, "Okay, $50, dude."
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's exactly it. It took me a lot of years to get to the point to where I felt like now I don't, like, as far as coaching goes in the motocross world, I put myself up against anybody. But it took me a long time to get there, but I had to be very confident in the fact that what I was teaching was true. You know?
Yeah.
And then you really start to figure out that it's not rocket science. Like I don't feel like I'm some kind of genius because I can teach.
No, but it should be studied.
For sure.
It should be studied. It should be taken serious, because you're giving information to people that are in a sport that is extremely dangerous.
Right.
And there needs to be, you should have some merit behind it,
And safety is 100% my goal, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the other cool thing about it. The byproduct of doing things the right way is going faster and
getting results
and getting results and staying off the ground. But it always starts off with let's do it the right way.
Yep.
Right. Let's stay safe. So that's I don't know how this turned into a little background.
I don't either, but it's all right.
Yeah, but it's cool. I like to, I like to go down those roads and find out how, just like we were talking about earlier, I like to find out how people got, even though I've known you since you were on 85s, but I didn't know that whole story. It's like we weren't like together every day. So
no,
it's cool to hear that story. And like I said, there are a lot of, and this is another thing that I tell you, there are a lot of good trainers out there, a lot of good coaches out there.
Of course.
You just got to make sure you find one that is giving you good information and has your kid's best interest in mind.
And is 100% committed with them.
Right.
It is what it is. And not every kid gels with every coach, right?
No.
They just, and as long as they're given the attention that's necessary and really out there with them and not just going through the motions, not just making them run laps, not just telling them to go faster or, dude, you just need to jump the jump,
Right.
There's more going on, man. Teach that kid, give him some confidence of why he's able to jump that jump and how when he's in the air to feel good about it and land with the right technique that's going to give him the feeling of control, and that way, because I don't know, I remember being that kid. I remember my dad sitting out there, standing next to that jump with his hand in the air, telling me, hit that jump. And dude, that is so scary.
The opposite of what we tell parents to tell kids now.
Yeah. But, this was the 90s. And Marty wanted me to jump that jump. And, I turned out all right. But because of remembering to be that kid, I try to turn around now and be a really good guide for them, and give them a little bit of that pat on the ass when they do it too. And like, that was awesome, man. Doesn't that feel cool?
Right.
And then you see them light up. It's the same thing for a corner, right? We go sit over there in that off camber section today, dude. Those kids are laying on the throttle, full on off camber, right hand corner, and just wide open all the way through it. Yeah. And when they pull in, they're just like pumped. You'd have thought they jumped a 150-foot jump. That was the coolest thing to see it. And you got to be there with them. You got to be there with them. And when you are, you get the feedback together, and it's really fun. It's such a cool. It's very fulfilling. It's very fulfilling.
It's a cool ride. That's the thing that dirt bikes have done for my family. We've gone overseas to race a couple of different times. So at a young age, my kids knew, they'd been to Paris, they've been to Bulgaria of all places, it's a third world country. The house next door to the track that we raced on in Sarajevo, Bulgaria, did not have running water or power. And that was the guy that took care of the track.
Rad.
Yeah. I think Parker was 10, so Hunter would have been 11.
How'd they take care of that track? What kind of equipment did they have?
They had none. So I was told a story when we went on that trip that every track that does that Junior World Championship back then, this was in like 2000,
goes out of business.
Yeah, they go out of business.
I've heard that
because the whoever does it take care, was it Ustream or whoever it was then doesn't take care of them. That track did go out of business right after that race.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's like makes them put in a bunch of money and effort and then doesn't give them their piece of the pie.
It was a really cool track. It had huge grandstands, but this is how it went down. When we showed up, the track was prepped, right? It was tilled up, watered, everything. It was not touched again the entire time we were there.
Really?
They didn't have equipment. So somebody from Ustream or the FIM or whatever came in and prepped it and then left. What they did have was garden hoses, and this track had the gnarliest uphills and downhills that you've ever seen. Like, we stood at the top of one of them. It was a step down. You couldn't see the landing from the takeoff because it was so steep down. And so I'm telling Parker, he's on 65. He wasn't even racing 65s at this time. He raced Loretta's on 85s because he's a big kid. And then we dropped down to a 65 to go race a junior world championship in Bulgaria. And I told him, hey, you got to jump this. Like, they're all going to be jumping this. So he jumped it, said it's probably the scariest thing he's ever done in his life. Nobody else jumped it. Maybe, I think maybe one, or maybe Connor Mullenix jumped it because he heard, we were all discussing. No, definitely nobody jumped it during the race. The big bikes, some of the big bikes did, but like it got so bad. Well, so during the intermission, they were with the fire hoses. They would spray at the top of the hill and just watch the water run down. And we were like, no, nobody's going to be able to get up those freaking hills. Anthony Rodriguez was on the 125 there, and he blew up his bike like 2 or 3 laps into the second moto, and it was so dusty. So we're watching the 125 race, and all of a sudden, A-Rod's sitting next to us in the bleachers. And I go, dude, what the hell? He said, I blew my bike up, and I'm so happy that I did. I don't have to race it. So they were jumping off of those downhills into dust walls. You couldn't see anything. Oh. Yeah, it was gnarly. Jordan Smith, I think, or Jarek Balkovic, whichever one of them got those plastic fencing wadded up in their rear wheel. Didn't get to finish, and they were like, yes.
Yeah.
It was sketchy. I don't remember why because we got to go to Bulgaria. We went to Bulgaria, went to Paris, we went to Italy. We spent a lot of time in Italy and Switzerland racing supercrosses. All super cool stuff, but it was all because of dirt bikes, So there's not a thing. I don't think there's a thing I would take back as far as dirt bikes go. They've done a lot for my family and us.
And that's what people, I hope everyone more and more can start recognizing that is the family time you're really, really getting to spend and not get too caught up in the racing. The racing is just the cherry on top.
For sure.
Which are the base that you're building with your family, the work ethic, the life lessons, the traveling across country in motorhomes and changing tires when they blow out and, carpooling or car, what's it called? Caravanning across the country with your buddies and, just the things you run into along the way. And for me, it was learning to read a map, with my dad and
Mapsco or
Rand McNally.
Yeah. And there's no need for those anymore.
I know. That's what I said for me. So a little different, like going to rodeos with my girls now. It's more like, hey, please get off the damn phone. Would you just look outside, know? And we have our own family bond through that. And it's the same world. It's the same thing. Just, you're pulling horse trailers and horses and cowboy hats.
Which is actually a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
And you can make money.
Yeah,
at a young age.
That is a nice thing. Yeah. That, we went to Vegas and she made like $4,500.
Nice.
In 15 seconds. 15 really cool. And
that's why team roping's 5 and 6 seconds at a time. And it can pay. My class in Vegas last year paid $400,000.
Right.
That's the novice class.
And, my daughter's 13 years old. Yeah, my daughter's 13 years old, and she's probably made, I'm not going to say, but she's made a pretty good chunk of money.
Oh, come on, say.
No, I'm good. And we have a rider that we work with on the big bikes, and his cousin is also a barrel racer and races with my daughter, and that's another level. My neighbor is Scamper Cole, which you guys know. She trains barrel horses, but she literally wins everything. Yeah.
She's got $1 million indoor, which Mark Brockmuller,
another one of our riders.
He built the indoor, but
small world.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
It is.
With rodeo, it's really cool because it's the same kind of family environment. Takes the whole crew, takes the family to go do it.
Way more expensive than motocross, by the way.
Oh, it
way
is.
More expensive.
For sure.
I'm a team roper. I got 2 horses, a trailer, saddles.
I'm a barrel dad.
I feed my horses twice a day.
Every day.
No matter what. I had to buy land, build a house with land, build fences and a horse barn. And yeah, there's no end to it. It's way more expensive. And then entry fees. And you can go, like for team roping, which, and we'll get into barrel racing also, but for team roping, I can go where I live. I can go to team roping 5, maybe 6 days a week if I want to.
That's the same thing in your area with barrel racing.
And win money. Sure. And I don't, like, I'm not at a top level by any means, but I rope for a lot of money. I don't win it a lot, but I mean, I've won some.
It's a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the best roping I've had, I won $1,100 and a $2,500 saddle.
You won a saddle?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Which was,
you use it?
Yeah,
as a trophy. Yeah,
I use it. I didn't want to use it, but when I got my second horse, I needed one.
Hell yeah.
And my other one I had custom made. It was $2,500. I didn't want to spend $2,500.
I understand.
But the one that I won, not comfortable. It hurts my ass.
Yeah.
But it's saying that there's always a lot of money on the line, and they pay out a lot. Like, they take in a lot, but they pay out a lot.
Yeah, it's really nice because even the kids from 6-year-olds, the Pee Wee division, they all get paid. Not all of them, but the when you do good, you get paid. It's not a trophy.
It's
a belt buckle, saddles, money.
Which belt buckles mean a lot.
Oh, belt buckles are a big deal.
They mean a lot. I think I've won 4 of them, which is, for me, is cool.
Yep.
There's a kid that my wife taught that is 13 now, and I think it was like 3 weeks ago. Coulter Jackson, he won 70-something thousand and a brand new aluminum 3-horse gooseneck trailer, which is another probably 50,000
at least.
It was a good weekend, and he does that all the time. He's 13 years old.
Right,
he makes bank.
Yeah, it's really cool that they're able to pay that back, and I'd love to see motocross be able to do something like that. But I some of the hurdles that you run into with that is the length of the event.
Right. And then these are all one day. Like
right,
the ones we do, they're all
so
one day,
we'll go to these barrel races.
Deals.
We'll go to these barrel races that, it could be a day event or it could be a week event, and there's thousands of entries, but they're running through them in 15, 16 seconds on the barrel race side. Right. They're literally moving through 50 to 55 an hour of girls all day.
Yeah,
all day.
But it's got to equate. Like there's got to be a way that you could, and I'm not a race promoter. I could be a race promoter, but I'm not a race promoter. But there's got to be a way that you could work through it and even do it like a weekend event and have some payback. And that
premier classes, right?
Yeah, like
it'd be nice to start with. So Texas Pro Challenge has done this, and I don't know if they did it last year or it's a every year thing or not. But I know in recent years we've been taking a group out there and. They have like the premier class at the 65 class, 85 class.
And those pay money?
Yeah, like a 500, 300, 200 or something for the top 3. And they did it with...
Oh, it's like an open class.
Yeah, for like an 85 Open All-Star or something, and then they pay it, and it's with a MasterCard gift card.
Yeah.
Right? So you're not paying cash because there's something to do with our sport where you can't pay an amateur or something.
I don't know how Micah got paid a lot.
I know, but not like purse money, right? So I think maybe AMA made a thing where they don't have to pay people. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No. And it would be cool if there was a way, and I know there's got to be, where there's a will, there's a way.
Well,
right?
It's been done. So let's go back to, I think it was 2005, and I'm not sure. Something tells me that this was based around rodeo events, but there was, you remember that race in Arizona? It was a Attack MX.
Yeah.
And that kid.
ACP, right? Is it Arizona Cycle Park?
I think it was ACP. Yeah. Attack MX put it on. They put up a huge purse for I think it was, I don't remember exactly how it was done because this has been a lot of years ago. But I think they put up a bunch of money for the C class and a truck. And remember, Adam Chatfield's buddy came from Europe and won the C class and won the truck. And then, like, within a couple of days, they found out he was a pro in Europe.
Yeah, from England.
And I think he had to give the truck back. I
don't remember the whole story.
I wish I could, I wish I knew somebody that was involved because I would love to know, like, all the ins and outs. But it was a great, I remember when they announced they were doing that deal, it was like, everybody in the country was talking about it because, like, finally, like, motocross is going to give back, not a $3.50 crappy trophy that gets thrown away anyways.
Some grip donuts.
Or now it's a $2.50 plaque
at most.
Yeah, and you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, these events cost a lot of money to be there. It costs a lot of money to put them on. Right. I get it, right? I mean, we run tracks. Like, we know there's a lot of fuel, a lot of diesel, a lot of help.
I'm not knocking promoters.
No way.
Like, it's a lot of work. I've done it. And again, I don't want to say I'm a promoter, but I've done it. I've done every job. So I understand, and I'm not knocking promoters for what they do. It's a business. They need to make money. I want them to make money, so they stay around. But there's got to be a way. If I can go to a rodeo or roping every freaking weekend or 5 and 6 days a week, where as a 49-year-old man, I can compete for money, but there's also 10 and 12-year-old kids there that are competing for the same money. There's got to be a way to do it to where the promoter profits and the contestants profit. There's got to be a way.
I would think there'd be some sort of way. So if you have 50s, 65s, 85s, super mini, like a 125, and then a 250 class or something. You have 6 divisions kind of in there. But if you have maybe a premier class in each of those, and so there's 6, maybe you get to like 10 premier classes, right? And just spitballing ideas. Maybe if you sign up for 2 regular classes, then you're eligible to sign up for this premier class, and this premier class pays money. If there's 10 classes and the premier class, each of it has maybe $800, there's $8,000 there. You would think it would be worth a couple of sponsors, a couple companies to put up the money for that, for something that is just for that cause. You would think. I would think, but
I know
Harold Martin could be yelling at us right now, like we don't know what the hell we're talking about.
Well, and again, we're not, not promoters, but
I just, my kids are doing it, and I see how awesome that is for
and
us.
I'm doing it,
and you're doing it, yeah.
Deal.
But and for me as a dad, and it's like you're going for you, and it's your thing. But like for me, I'm going with my kid as a parent, watching her battle for money and get that check, and then she's able to do things with that. Or as a family, maybe, like when she got a big check from Vegas, that helped us a lot pay for that trip. That was a big trip,
Yeah.
And that could go along. And it kind of opens the door for other kids to see that kind of possibility in motocross. If that was something to be chasing, you can kind of, it sets it up for a different kind of thing. And it would be really cool to see that blended if it was possible. And the Attack MX thing, what we're talking about, what's such a bummer is, you're right. There was a lot of people talking about that race. It was going to become something big. It had the potential to grab traction and become something big.
And then they got shafted in the very first round.
Right. And so,
and I don't know why it went away. I honestly, I wish I knew the details. So here's the deal. If anyone that listens to this podcast has the information on that Attack MX, like the promoter or whatever, contact us through social media. We want that story.
Yeah, we want to know what's up with that. Because I do remember, so in 2005, that kid came with Chatfield at Lake Whitney in the back of Chatfield's trailer. Chatfield was parked right there around the first turn, kind of a catty corner across from where Honda Houston is.
Right where I saw one year D Wood crash in the first turn, and her bike went over the fence and on top of a motorhome.
Yeah.
No joke.
Yes. Flip. Kawasaki, right?
Yep.
She was right.
Absolutely.
Kawasaki. Yep.
Yeah.
So back to it. That kid, he came over. His bike was in a box. The whole bike. Nothing was connected. There was literally a box. And I remember, I was 05. We were just kind of getting onto the 4 strokes. So I was in B class, and he's about my age, a little older than me, and he's putting his whole bike together. Everything's going, and he's riding the novice class. He's pretty damn good. He wasn't quite up to what we would consider like a legit pro speed, but he was riding good. And it was wild to see him. This kid put his whole bike together. And then it wasn't long after that race that the
Attack MX.
The Attack MX came. And, man, all kinds of memories are popping up now that I'm thinking about that with Chatfield. And
I would just like to know because I remember that thing vividly, but I don't remember all the details. I would like to know what their idea was behind that, and then what kept it from going through after the fact, because it was a great idea.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great idea. Maybe it financially it didn't work because it was all focused on the C class, and I don't know, but maybe
was it? Do you
just a
remember
bunch
it
of
being? Do you remember it being focused on the C class?
I think it was.
Maybe that was where the truck was.
From what I remember, and again, this could be totally wrong, but from what I remember, I think each round they were going to focus on a different class and do that, but they never got past round one.
And the promoter might have said, "Screw this! I just got set up, and now they're going through all these legal battles." And this kid came from Europe to steal this truck.
I think he had to drive the truck back from Texas back to wherever, Arizona,
Makes sense.
wherever. He had to give it back. I just would really love to know that, all the ins and outs of that story, because I vividly remember it, but I don't remember details that great.
I have a few details.
All right. Let us throw them on us.
The man, I don't know which name is listed, but they say that he used a fake name when he came over here so that nobody could look up his results. The name listed, I don't know if it's the fake one or the real one, is Alex Snow.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah, I think that was the fake. Man, it's been too long ago.
That sounds like a fake name.
Yeah, it does sound like a fake name. A guy from Europe named Alex Snow.
Maybe we look him up.
I tried. There's only one guy from Europe named Alex Snow. He's from the UK.
Which is where Chatfield's from.
And he rides for Gas Enduro team.
Huh.
That could be him.
He was the redhead.
Could be.
I'm pretty sure he was redheaded.
Chatfield was redhead.
Yes.
They were both
He
redhead?
was ginger.
Hey, maybe look him up on Instagram and ask him if he's the guy that won the truck.
Hey, did you win a truck in Arizona?
Yeah.
I can't see.
They're probably pissed by the time the truck came back. It was no longer a new truck.
If we had a TV screen where we could see that.
But then,
we lose focus.
Just stare at it. Yeah. So it's a really cool concept. I know I've had that conversation with a few parents, and it's funny because like, oh yeah, that'd be cool, and they just go right back to what they're doing and working on the bike, and it's almost like
$500 for a weekend race to get a plastic plaque.
500. Would you go night racing?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, and it because they're racing to race, right?
Right.
And
which I get that.
Me too.
And they say you can't do it for the money, and
of course
all
not.
that. I get that, but the money would be nice.
Give it back.
Yeah.
Give it a little back. And once again, I've never put on a race.
I've helped with several.
I've been to.
But I'm not claiming to know everything about it.
And what I do know about the difference
I want
between
promoters to make money.
Yes. I want good races to keep happening. And I want them to have the budget to spend on good track workers and good flaggers and good gates and good communication, and all of this comes into it. The radios and headsets that everybody's wearing to communicate to each other are important.
And they get demolished.
And they're not cheap.
No.
Right? And
side-by-sides to be Rovers and
four-wheelers and just all of it.
It's extremely expensive.
Yes.
I get it. And a lot of people don't understand that. I do totally get that. And again, it's not a knock on any promoter. My whole deal is, why can't we?
Well,
and if there's a reason why we
are
can't.
at the Smith Pro Rodeo Ranch right here while we talk about this, so maybe we can. And if that is something we should do, maybe we should read some comments from people that could help us support that.
Hey, maybe we don't talk about it anymore.
Okay, so back on track with, I get it. That one of the things, like what you said, you're talking about making money. They're paying out this kind of money at one-day events. It's one-day event. They pay the rental fee of the arena. In most of the rodeo entries that we've had, you pay your entry fee and an office fee, right? It's like a $5 or a $10 office fee, and then the entry fee, say it's $50. The entry fee $50, 80% of the purse or whatever the way they break it down, 60 to 80%. I'm not sure how they always do it, but that goes back into the purse. But the office money
goes to the
promoter.
I don't know. That's pretty cheap. I'm going to a jackpot this weekend, and it's $150 for 2 runs.
Okay,
and you're there 3 times, so I'll spend $450.
Yeah, and I'm
get 6
talking,
runs.
but either way, so I'm talking like at the Lone Star High School rodeo.
Yeah.
Right? There's like 70 girls that will barrel race in Kaya's age group, but there's equally double that when you add up the other age groups of just barrel races.
Right.
Right?
Because they have multiple classes, just like motocross.
Right, yeah, the age groups and then that's one event. Then you got poles and you got all the rodeo events. There's the bucking broncs and they're riding steers and the goat tying and there's so many events and there's kids lined up all through it. But the thing is, what I'm saying is they go through all these entries and it's one day.
Right.
They get through it in one day. If we want to run a race with 2,000 entries, 1,500 entries, dude, that's 4 days.
Well, what I mean, it depends. Like with the team roping, they have, like, I've been in ropings where in a day they'll have 3 to 4 classes, and it's a weekend. Most of them are a weekend event. They'll have the top guys on Friday, which there's not that many. The entries are not big on those because a lot of those top guys are doing rodeos versus jackpots.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday they'll have like 3, maybe 4 classes, and then on Sunday 3, maybe 4 classes. So maybe you do it, but like my
Split program.
My class will have 400 to 500 entries, and that's 2 people. So my entry fee to get 2 runs is $150. Well, the other guy on my team, his entry is $150 also.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So 300 per team.
Yes. Well, but you get 2 runs. So actually, it's $150 per team
Per run.
Yeah, $75 a man basically.
per
but
run.
You have to pay for 2.
Right.
But if they have 3 different classes with 500 plus entries, there's 1,500 entries in a day, but it's only 3 classes. All that money goes into the pot for 10 to 12 people or 20, or, however deep you want to pay. It's not like
not everybody makes money.
But I think if you, right.
It's the same way. It's the same way with pro racing.
If you suck, you do not make money.
Right.
Yes. They're not giving anything away, and then they shouldn't.
No way.
But it's not that far fetched to think that if you were offering something really attractive, that you could get large numbers in a motocross race. If you had, on one day, you had a 50 open, a 65 open, and an 85 open, and maybe 4 classes that day, and you had big money on the line, could you not get 300 entries for a 125 class?
Dude.
I'm just saying, it's a lot, right? Like nobody else does those numbers, but
Spring and Ding kills it with 1,800 entries.
Totally agreed, but
you can get 300 in one class. I would love it.
If you're
keep talking to me,
if you're paying out $10,000 through the top 10 or $10,000 through the top 5.
If you have 300 entries, it's $100 a class. $30,000.
Just that you have to make
a third of that money goes back into a purse. $10,000. It's feasible.
It's feasible. Here's the drawback: is the half of the people you need to come to make that race know that they're not going to be.
Yeah,
in the
you
top
have to
5,
have
so they're not gonna be
donators,
in the
right?
top
So
10.
when I was racing local races, and if we didn't get enough guys on the gate to make it worth racing, we would go around to all the vet riders and
tell them to get in, sign up.
Dude, we'll split your entry with you. And most of them be like, no, I'll just pay. I'll donate. It's cool. And the next thing you know, we went from 5 guys on the gate to 15. It's worth racing.
But so here's my next thing. So what if you pay 1 through 5 and then you jump down and you pay 15th and you pay 25th?
Hey, in barrel racing, they do Ds.
Yeah.
Right? 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D. So 1D is obviously the fastest set.
Yeah.
And then a half a second off that starts the 2D bracket. Right? So you're racing hard. So girl runs a 15.0. Everybody that slots in the top 10 or top 5, 6, 7, 8 girls in that 15.0 get paid. And then 15.5, right?
15.5.
Half second.
Okay.
And then so there's a slot in there for girls, and then the 15, and then the 16 flat, and then it goes on. There'll be like 4 Ds or whatever, and there's ways to talk through it.
That's
right?
the thing that it just the conversation, starting the conversation, I think is part of it. And,
then you have to think about finding the backing to support that for a year or 2.
Here's the problem. is motocross is the industry is so bled dry because it only funds from within.
Right.
There's no outside funding for motocross. And so, okay, let's call Mitch Payton and see if he's interested in getting in on it. Well, guess what? Mitch Payton is in on everything already.
Right.
He's already spending money everywhere. So
he's trying to win pro championships right now.
Right. So let's call Thor or
but these are still
whoever
inside industry, and our industry's so small.
That's what I'm saying. The industry is already bled dry from the industry.
Right.
So how do you you have to pull in outside
funding from
people.
Somewhere, right? Yeah. And maybe it's by putting maybe it's by putting on more of an event, maybe an event, more of an event. Like Moto Playground puts on great events, and there's parties and there's things going on, but it's all within racing dirt bikes. And so maybe, I don't know, maybe you fundraise a different way, putting on a concert, having a country band.
I've thought about
that,
but then the majority of your money's got to go to the act. And so do you actually generate money that way? And I've never promoted a concert, so I don't know the first thing about it. I know somebody who has.
I know a guy.
Yeah, you do know a guy. But yeah, you're right. Like it seems like at Ponca and at Baja and at Spring-a-Ding-Ding, the people are just as into the mom's race and the pit bike race and the Amtrak race and all those things that are away completely separate from the actual national level racing. So there's some substance there because we see it like it's on paper. It definitely works, but how do you make that generate the capital to fund the race that's going to pay the racers? And that's the thing that I don't know. And I'm sure I don't either. We could sit down long enough to figure it out.
Yeah.
But that's something that I would love to do because I've always thought, man, like rodeo. I've always known. I mean, I lived in Stephenville, Texas, for 20-something years. I know little kids that make more money than most adults make.
Yep.
I know little kids that make six figures every year rodeoing every year.
So like we go to these races, these barrel races, and there will be 400, 200, 500, doesn't matter, regular entries, and then they do a high stakes, right? Mm-hmm. And so then there'd be like, maybe they cap it at like 50, 40, 50, but it'll be like double or triple the entry fee that we pay, but the top dogs come in and they show up. They know it's at time slot, right? It's the event starts at 4 p.m., their time slot's at like 6:30 or something. So they run however many races, and then the badasses show up and they spend an hour running the high stakes, and it's intense. Everybody there is watching it. Everybody's loving it. Arena records are being set, right? And it's like a way bigger payout because it's a bigger purse, brings in a different caliber of rider for that high stakes. And then you go back into the regular action, and it's like an event inside of an event. And all those girls that are racing watch the girls they look up to, and I don't know, it kind of elevates the event, and it's its own thing within it. And it's just something. Maybe that's a way you could try to integrate something there with our racing series.
And we have the same thing in team rope, and we have regular classes that are, like I said, $150 for 2 runs or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they'll have one of those where it's a $500 entry fee.
Yeah.
But it pays out a ton of money.
Yeah.
And there might not be that many people in it, but it might, you could win 10 grand.
Yeah.
And be there 30 minutes.
Right.
The WSTR World Series Team Roping pays out $2,417,500 in cash.
Cash.
That's an amateur event. And don't get me wrong. So you have to qualify for it. Entry fee for one run there is $2,500. But you're entering for a chance to win. The average class is probably $300,000 to win. That's just the winner, and it pays through like 30th.
The entry fee is $2,500. Their horse trailer they're rolling in is $250,000.
Oh, there's $300,000.
That's their That's just their trailer, right? The horses they pull out of there are 100 G's a piece, like or more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So going and paying $2,500 to try to win a big ass chunk of cash to them,
Oh, it's
that's
nothing.
part of the
It's
game.
nothing. Here's the thing about. Here's another thing.
But that could elevate our sport as well.
For sure.
That same kind of mindset could elevate.
So get this. So we talk about people going to Loretta's earlier, and we don't understand how. People go to the World Series of Team Roping, which is in Vegas during the national finals.
NFR.
NFR, yeah. There's a town.
That's when we were there too.
There's a town in Arizona that has become the team roping capital of the world.
It's we were there. We stayed there 2 nights on the trip, or a night on the trip. Yep.
I've totally drawn a brain for
Me
it.
too. Keep talking. I'll figure it out.
They have like 8 arenas in town. You can go there and literally ride your horse through town. You can go from bar to bar, arena to arena, roping to roping to roping. They go there for a month.
Yeah, but they're there racing. They're doing their thing.
Yeah,
Like, so if we go to Vegas for that barrel race, and we should be going back this year again. There's like a bunch of other damn near just as big events happening that we could be there for 4 to 6 weeks straight just in Vegas, and we could stop at that town. We stopped there. We kept our horses out of
Wickenburg,
Wickenburg, Arizona.
Yeah,
That's
Wickenburg.
it. Yeah.
And it's like I said, I know people that'll go there and they'll stay. They may go there for 3 weeks and they rent a hotel room that comes with horse stalls, and they get up in the morning, get on their horse, ride to an arena, go enter a roping,
take the rope,
go to the bar for a little bit with their horse, on their horse, and then go to another arena, another roping.
Yeah, it's pretty
all
cool for us
town.
to see that. Yeah, my daughter was.
She's
tripping out. Yeah, it's like it was really cool. We almost bought a horse trailer while we were there.
Well, and that's the thing. So it's like Vegas for horse people, because like I'm on all these lists on Facebook, like where they sell saddles, where they sell trailers, where they sell horses. There is constantly all of that stuff for sale in Wickenburg, Arizona, because people go out there and spend all their money. And then they're like, I got to get some more money so I can keep going. And they start selling their shit.
Yeah, we found a couple good deals on trailers, and we did not plan on. If we would have made a plan of that, it would have happened. They're really good deals on trailers. But
all right, so what do you got for us over there?
What's up on attack?
All right, well, little do you guys know, you kind of opened a can of worms here.
Okay,
because small world.
Let's go fishing.
My dad raced in Japan when he was a kid with the guy who owns the track that happened at, Speed World MX in Phoenix, Arizona.
It was not.
It
wasn't.
It was not ACP. It was Speed World MX, and I know the guy. We could honestly call him, and I bet he could tell us all about that.
Well, let's hear what you got.
Yeah, what do you got?
Okay, basically, all this really says is just kind of what we already know. It's they DQ'd him, and the prize went to the runner-up. And the guy drove the truck all the way wherever to Texas,
Greenville, Texas.
Greenville, yeah, he's from Greenville. That's what it says. And drove it all the way back to Texas. And when they gave him a trailer, I guess, maybe to haul it back, and guy had to return everything exactly the way they gave it to him.
What was his name?
His name is David Snow. He went under Alex Snow, but his real name is David Snow.
David Snow.
We'll have to call Dan Matthews. He owned that track, and it went out of business, and I wonder if that's why.
It's a big wonder.
Big wonder.
That is a big wonder.
Who was the runner-up? Who got the truck?
Doesn't say.
Oh, I'd love to know that. Because it might be somebody we know.
Yeah. Hunter Schlosser.
Actually, dude, that dude works so freaking hard.
He's awesome,
So
right? What a cool story.
He is such a gnarly
from
dude.
C to A in 3 years.
Hey,
Yep.
and like whenever I was working with him regularly, no one outworked that kid. No one. I mean, he was an animal.
So he was still at Underground when we came for the summer there.
I loved having him there.
Yep, Hunter, he was really cool. I liked him.
He was
had
a leader.
good presence. Yep.
Yeah.
I had no idea who he was.
I didn't either. When I first met him, never heard of him.
He's just there doing the work.
I mean, he was he's El Paso guy. Who knows somebody from El Paso? You know what I mean? Like
Mikey Witcher.
Trey Fierro.
Yeah. See, we know people.
Isn't Brandon Walther from there?
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah,
that's wild. I did not know that.
Yeah. So,
what was the guy's name?
David Snow. I'm trying to find the runner-up. I can't. I cannot find the runner-up.
We need
They don't care who the truck actually went to. By the way, it was a $40,000 Ford F-350.
which
In 2005,
hey, in
$40,000 a nice
2005,
pickup.
That's a lot of truck.
Yeah, that was a good truck.
Yeah. And I think it had Attack MX all over it.
And it was 2005, so I guess it's 250, but it was 125C. 250C. It was
125.
He was on a Honda. I do know that. The guy that came over here was on a Honda.
Wow.
Chatfield was always into something.
Hey,
He's mentioned in this article.
Is he?
Yeah.
hey. So what about
Yeah.
when we're talking about it? Remember when he claimed Michael Lessie's bike? I can't remember what the races were going on at that time. Whether it was Whitney and Mosier or Whitney and Oak Hill, but his dad claimed Michael Lessie's 85
At Loretta's.
that was built by Terry Varner.
Mm-hmm.
No. He claimed it at Spring Nationals. And
Are you sure?
yes, because here's what happened. This is why I know. Whatever he claimed it at the first race.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Whitney. It might have been Oak Hill the second race, but could have possibly been Mosier Valley. Whatever the second race was, he used that bike as a pit bike all week long.
Adam raced it at Loretta's, though, right? That
I don't
the
think
end of
so.
that year?
The last I heard, I don't think he did. No. The last I heard, that
Something is
thing
in
was
my head about
was
Loretta's
still, and this has been not. It's been a few years ago, but the last thing I heard that thing was still sitting in that barn in Greenville.
It's right up the road.
Yeah,
We should get pictures.
we should. Hey, speaking of that, what about MX Oasis? You remember anything about that?
I remember a little bit about MX Oasis. Same group of people.
I wonder. Here's the deal. I wonder what happened to all those facilities.
Dude. Hey, that track that was over here in Palestine,
I never went.
did
I
it?
drove by it.
the one off the highway was insane,
But they
right?
had two of them, right?
The one in Palestine was like really cool. Blake, what's that track builder's name? Blake Hamilton.
Blake Hamilton.
Blake Hamilton
I've got
built
him
that
on-
track. That was a badass track. It was a really cool track. You never would have thought a track was back there. You pull off into this place, and it just opened up, and the pine trees just amazing.
Videos and pictures, and I did see the one that was on the interstate, the indoor.
They had a supercross track and an indoor arena.
They had them somewhere else. They had one in California.
There's multiple.
And one, it was like one in Georgia or something, Florida. I don't remember.
They were just selling more things than dirt bikes. Could use your imagination. you pulling something up, Brian?
Oh, I got MX Oasis pulled up. Is it in Madisonville?
Yes,
Yes.
one of them was, yes.
That was the one off
It
the
says
highway.
another one right here was in Palestine.
Yes.
That's what I just said.
There was a bunch
I
of
thought
them.
you were saying. I thought you were talking about a different track. In
No,
Palestine.
no,
You're
Blake
talking
Hamilton-
about MX Oasis.
Yeah, there was
Yes.
a bunch of them.
Oh,
There's-
okay.
yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought it was
Dude,
one
the
location.
one on
No. There was
the
multiple
one in
locations.
Madisonville, multiple locations.
Yeah.
The one in they're all open.
Yeah.
The one in Madisonville.
He just found out what happened.
No, I know. No. It was run by a 50-year-old woman from California.
What was her name?
I don't know. Oh, it's a
What was her son's name?
Oriental woman.
Yes.
Her name
Zupe.
is.
Zupe.
Well, you want to know her real name?
Yeah.
Her
There's
real
Kim
name is
something, right?
Jong Ok Mao.
But it was Kim, right?
Jong Ok Mao is the only thing.
I think she went by Kim.
Zupe was her kid.
Zupe was her kid. He was actually pretty good.
Yep. And she married, or I don't know
She
if they
actually
ever married
Adam
Chatfield's dad, who was from England.
Yep.
So it's kind of a weird situation there. And then MX Oasis fell apart.
She pleaded guilty to the charges of conspiring to use interstate commerce to promote prostitution and using brothel proceeds to buy real estate, according to an official with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
So what's
they
up with
locked down.
I-45?
They locked down all of those. I remember they locked down all those MX Oasises. They may have locked down a what's the word I'm looking for? An establishment or two that gave back rubs and
Brothel.
no, they were massage parlor.
Oasis 9 Massage.
Is that what it was?
I just made it up.
Oh, you came.
They had a whole lot of LED lights that they had confiscated.
Let's not let the facts get in the way of a good story.
No, there's something going on there. So that MX Oasis had a huge sign. Don't go on Madisonville. You remember seeing that?
Yep, on the highway.
Yeah, big.
I remember it got tore up by a storm because it was flapping for a long time.
They had a overhead watering system in that indoor arena.
Yep.
It would water the Supercross track like pristine.
They had one in Beaumont as well in California, and I never saw that one, but that's where Zupé rode, I think, primarily.
It says here that the lady Jong Akmao had to forfeit $12 million in property she bought with the proceeds from the brothels.
I will tell you this, $12 million in property is a drop in the bucket to the amount of property she owned.
Yeah. I had some pretty reliable sources.
Strip malls. She owns strip malls in California. Oof. $12 million does not buy very many strip malls.
No, not in California. I had some pretty reliable sources that worked their way into a pretty sweet safe at one point at one of those tracks, and there was quite a bit of cash stacked in there.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I can't give up my source.
Yeah.
Says here, the indictment alleged Mao owned 5 brothels in Los Angeles and 1 in Dallas, using proceeds from those illegal activities to purchase 4 private motocross tracks in California, Florida, and Texas, including ones in Palestine and Madisonville.
What was the address of the brothel in Dallas?
Not the one in Dallas. I can tell you where the one in Palestine was.
That's a motocross track.
Yeah.
Oh, good times.
I'm glad I got to ride that track in Palestine, though.
I never got to go out there. Like I said, I saw it, and
that track builder was cool.
Blake Hamilton?
I
got him on
haven't
Facebook.
seen him in forever. Is
Got
he
him
still
on
around?
Facebook. Yeah, you bet. Still talking about he still loves motocross.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm bummed I never got to go there.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking, wow, that's a lot of money getting thrown at motocross.
Yeah.
A lot of money. You might land all over the country.
How are these people going to these races a month early?
This has been a fun one.
Yep, it's been good.
We're gonna figure this thing out with I so bad want to tie motocross in with rodeo, whatever it takes. Stay Smith wants to tie motocross in with rodeo.
Yep.
You want to tie motocross in with rodeo. Uh-huh. Like it's all of our.
If you come visit this ranch,
out.
if you come visit these couple pieces of property, you would think it's already done, right?
Yeah,
it's
for
happening
sure. For sure.
It's
well, you go
sown.
see like a couple of motocross tracks on one side and an RV park with a bunch of motocross families, and you think, yeah, that's a pretty cool facility,
a really cool spot.
Then you drive to the other side of the ranch and you see the other 3-4 tracks over there.
Supercross track, the race shop.
And you think, man, this place is pretty badass. Then you drive down the road to the main house and you see 2 more tracks and you're like, wow, like, where's the end of this? Like it's
2,000 acres.
I will never forget the first time I came out here and I got the tour and I was like, when are we going to stop seeing motocross tracks?
I try to tell you, Zach.
I know. It's like and then in being a horse.
Hey, in 3 years.
Being a horse guy like I am, you're on the way to, you're driving to all of these different tracks. And let's not forget, nestled in between all of these tracks is about 400 bucking horses.
The baddest bucking horses.
The best bucking horses in the rodeo business.
Yep.
Which is like so cool to see.
Yeah, like these kids and these families, they'll be riding from what we call the RV park, where the Loretta's track is. We have an arena cross track. We have the main RV park track. We've got plenty of corner stuff out there. And the gym and everything's right there. When they ride from, I mean, that's it's a mile probably?
Probably so, yeah.
It's a mile from the RV park to the national, what we call the national tracks. Dude, they're going by right next down the road to these badass horses. They're just big and beefy, and it's really cool because this place is it's in a kind of cliche way, it's breeding champions. It
100% is
the horses are legit bred here. and then at the same time we're bringing these kids up through the motocross scene, and there's been a lot of championships won in this dirt in the last 3 years, and plus all the rodeo stuff, and it's kind of I think it's going to turn into a really cool thing that's part of the motocross world real soon.
Hey, and for me, it's the best of both worlds because I get to do dirt bikes and I get to do rodeo.
Well, I mean, even for me, right?
Yeah.
Like my daughter's been doing rodeo now for almost 5 years, and a bulk of that has been being able to be stalled right here at the Smith Pro Rodeo Ranch with the baddest horses around and the coolest cowboys. And, we always have an arena to ride for her with great dirt, and I get to work, and we get to do what we love. So it's really cool. And hopefully we can have these conversations more and talk to more people and pick their brains about how to elevate and evolve what we're doing, because I don't want anything to stop what we're doing. We need to evolve this sport and keep it interesting and something that other people outside of this world go, wait, what? Wow. And just more motivation to come in and try this, because it is really cool, and it really does help build a whole the next generation of hardworking kids.
We're going to figure out how to tie motocross and rodeo together.
Yeah.
We're going to figure it out. We got to get through Loretta's. We got to get through the summer rodeo run, and then we're going to figure this thing out, and it's going to be cool for everybody.
Yep. I think so.
Figure out a way to make it cool for everybody, but most of all, it'll be cool for us.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think between us all, we know the right people.
And when you do it, when you take that kind of angle, we don't have to try to bleed more from the industry.
No, and I don't want to.
We can reach outside really easy because it's a different type of program.
Yep. Just like, with Resistol cowboy hats, they've sponsored our program now for the past 3 years and hooked these kids up with the cowboy hats, and
that's a cool sponsor.
It's awesome. Yeah. Resistol is really cool. Yeah. And it's already showing. Like, how many kids do you see at the ranch now wearing cowboy hats?
How many you see on pro, like the pro racing?
Plessinger's doing it. That's cool. You
see in Canada.
Yeah.
You got McNabb's doing it.
Yeah. And I mean,
more and more. I saw Justin Barsha at the Dallas Supercross with a cowboy hat on and some boots tucked in.
Get out of here.
Yeah. I swear.
I believe it. He went to Cavender's.
All right. Well, we're wrapping this thing up, man. I tell you what, this has been another. We hope y'all like it, but even if y'all don't like it, this is fun for us.
Yeah, we enjoy it.
We just have a good time doing it.
We're going to keep doing it either way.
So our plan is, and we're wrapping it down, but our plan is to have a long form every other week, and then where we chop it up every other week and kind of keep these things coming to y'all on Mondays. So for myself, Zach Mashburn, Taylor Painter, and the IT guy, Brian Hedge, we will see you next time with the Amateur Hour.
All right.
Closing time, open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time, turn all of the lights on over every boy and every girl. Closing time, one last call for alcohol, so finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. Take me home. Time for you to go out to the places you will be from. Closing time, this room will